blessings upon the persons in Boston, Massachusetts, the ones that are deceased, the ones that are healing. We also ask your blessings upon the persons in West Texas and Beaumont, Texas, and the catastrophes that happened there. We ask your blessings upon our military and our veterans throughout the world. These and other blessings we ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Let us face the flag and render the proper salute. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any agenda additions?
No, I'm kissing her. Yeah, I'm kissing her.
Citizens' comments. Citizens who wish to address the commission on any issue other than zoning, please fill out a comment card located in the chamber foyer and return to the president or the clerk of the commission. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes. And also, please make sure your phones are on vibrate. Thank you. I have one visitor's recognition card. John Settle. Is it a? Oh yeah, it is a
zoning
case.
case.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk here in public hearing.
Yeah, public hearing.
Public hearing time.
Public hearing
When you
time.
get to the public hearing.
We have no other visitors. We have special resolutions. We've been requested to hold the Southwood resolution recognition to May 9th. They were unable to attend today.
We don't need a motion on that, do we, or do we?
I think you do.
Huh?
No.
I think so.
Yeah.
We'll just put it on the May 9th agenda.
That's fine.
Next, we move to communication and reports.
Yes, ma'am. President Baker and Commissioners, good afternoon. We have 2 short items. We have a guest today, Miss Kimberly Brewer, and she is from Tetra Tech. She'll be conducting a little seminar tomorrow, EPA water type seminar. And she's here to give us a little brief introduction as to what she'll be covering tomorrow with us. Ms. Kimberly, would you like to come forward, please?
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much for making time on your busy agenda. I really appreciate it. I am just so excited to be working with you and your staff. Caddo Parish applied for technical assistance with EPA some months ago, and 9 communities across the country were selected. A number of communities applied, and Caddo Parish was selected among a number of communities. And EPA hired Tetra Tech to assist the communities who had requested technical assistance. And what we're trying to do is provide assistance on linking land use and water quality. And I know from having worked with your staff over the last couple of months that both of those things, development and water, are very important to you. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. Now I'm trying to advance this. There we go. So EPA, this technical assistance program is part of EPA's Building Blocks for Sustainable Communities. And basically it's designed to be very quick technical assistance that can be provided over a day and a half or 2 days. So we work with your staff in advance. And I had a tour this afternoon, and then tomorrow we're going to have an all-day workshop. And again, that workshop is really focused on trying to look at this area, the planning area, the Caddo Shreveport planning area that you see in white there, and the emergency groundwater area. So what we're going to be doing is focusing on sustainable land practices and sustained water resources management in that area. And the reason that EPA chose you for technical assistance among the other applicants is because the time was really ripe. You're dealing with a number of challenges and some opportunities that really make this technical assistance just right. And one thing is that you have a 2030 master plan that's very innovative and forward-thinking. And so this technical assistance is designed to help you sort of further that vision, help you meet the vision in that master plan. We know that you are planning to complete a unified development ordinance in the next couple of years. And again, this technical assistance is designed to help you think about, well, you know, what kind of changes should we make in the code? You know, what really fits for the planning area? It's going to be designed to help you think about ways to strengthen your drinking water supply protection, reduce groundwater demand. We know that that's really important, not just in the emergency area, but in the other parts of the planning area where I was seeing, you know, there's some strong demand for subdivision development in the planning area, and we want to make sure that we're not overtaxing the groundwater. And also in the master plan, there was a policy for innovative wastewater management. So we think, you know, this is a really great way to link innovative stormwater management with innovative wastewater management. And essentially what we're trying to do is make the developed area that you see there, all those buildings and then lots of driveways and buildings and roads, how to make that kind of land function more like natural land. And you can do that. You can create developments where you actually are infiltrating the rainwater, letting it soak into the ground, be treated by the soil, and be slowly released rather than just rushing off. So that's a big part of what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. And we're going to be talking about land and water at different scales. We're going to be talking about it at sort of the municipal, parish, watershed scale. We're going to be talking about it at the neighborhood scale, and we're going to be talking about it at the site scale. And we're going to be thinking big. We're going to be talking about ways to remove barriers in codes so that you can have good development without a lot of unnecessary red tape and barriers for good ideas. We're going to be talking about creating incentives for good development that also provides good water stewardship, and also that closes sort of regulatory gaps. And some of the things we're going to be talking about are going in and looking at plans and regulations that reduce imperviousness, because the big part of the problem is impervious area that lets water just rush off without being sort of controlled and treated. So we're going to be looking at ways to protect natural areas and open space, to have more compact development, you know, houses that are closest together, and also trying to have more development occur closer to existing development rather than sort of leapfrogging out into the hinterland. We're going to be talking about designing narrower streets and streets that have nice garden-like plantings in the right-of-way that can control and treat stormwater and also look really nice and benefit the community. Those are called green streets. And then we're going to be looking at efficient parking design, designing parking lots in a way that so you don't have so much stormwater runoff. Now we know that these kinds of ideas don't just have stormwater benefits. When you have open space and native landscaping in a development, it not only reduces the pollution, it also means you don't have as much area that you have to irrigate, so you're not using as much groundwater. It also provides more habitat for birds and wildlife. When you have compact development and infill, it not only reduces the building footprint of roads and houses and driveways and reduces the amount of area that's disturbed, that means it reduces the overall runoff of rainwater when it rains. And it also, a lot of studies have found that it reduces actual infrastructure cost. One study showed that that when you have for each mile of water and sewer line that you're running from your center city, that if it's in a compact development, it costs about $50,000 per mile if it's compact development. That adds $50,000 to your 30-year infrastructure cost. If it's more sprawling kind of development, it adds $122,000 per mile to your 30-year cost. So that's more than double the per mile cost. And that really adds up when you're thinking about your infrastructure cost. So green streets and parking areas, again, by designing these, you reduce the amount of paving. That reduces the amount of runoff. It also means that you can allow developers to develop in a way that doesn't cost so much to them, allows them to be more creative in their site design, and it actually just creates nicer neighborhoods and nicer areas to shop. And another thing that we can do beyond just looking at plans and regulations for streets and parking lots and natural areas is to look at developments themselves, the development sites, and look at ways to really have what's called green practices right in the development itself. And what I mean by that is sites like practices like rain gardens. These actually look like just nice garden areas, but they're excavated holes in the ground, and you bring in some gravel. You maybe have a PVC pipe at the bottom of that hole where you are able to slowly release the water. Then you put some soil in the hole that has a lot of infiltration capacity. You put mulch in, and you plant it. And it's a great way to absorb the rainwater, to treat the rainwater and slowly release it, as opposed to just letting it sort of rush off the land. So it looks really nice, it's really beautiful, but it's actually a stormwater management device. This is a rain garden that was built in a common area. I saw some subdivisions out in the planning area this afternoon where these kinds of things would just look really beautiful. This is a bioretention, a rain garden that's connected to a wetland, and this was built in a common area of a subdivision. This is a pocket wetland, again, something really appropriate that helps treat stormwater, control stormwater, looks really beautiful, and can be worked into the landscape of a subdivision or even a commercial site. And these are some kinds of stormwater controls that, again, they work into the landscaping of a building. They look really pretty, but they're there to control stormwater, treat stormwater, and protect the streams and lakes. Things like planter boxes that you can work right up next to the building. This is a rainwater harvest. This is a cistern that some communities are using to harvest the water and use it for irrigation. And this is actually a Target store, the roof of a Target store where they've gone in and they put a green roof on. And those are just planter trays there. And what that does is you actually are capturing the rainwater and absorbing it rather than it running off the rooftop. It's very inexpensive, low cost, easy to maintain. Again, this is a picture of another green roof. This is an example from a downtown street. This is an area where they went in and, this is sort of the before picture, and they went in and in a 4-block area they built what's called bioretention areas. And this is the after picture. So along the 4-block area, they're controlling the stormwater that's coming off the building, the rooftops, the sidewalks, and doing a great job of treating the stormwater, protecting the lakes and the streams, but also making for a really nice commercial district. The businesses love it, the shoppers love it. It's just really beautiful. So, when we think about stormwater management, a lot of us think, well, how much does it cost? And there are costs to traditional stormwater management techniques and to these more innovative techniques. Sometimes and oftentimes these innovative techniques don't cost as much as the traditional techniques, and that's a good thing. But also they have other benefits that pipes and ponds don't have. They're more aesthetic, they're prettier for the neighborhoods and the commercial districts. They increase property values. That's been shown in study after study, anywhere from 4% to 18% increase in property values. You have improved air quality, additional recreational opportunities, just a lot of other benefits that go along with these kind of practices we're going to be talking about tomorrow. So tomorrow at the workshop, we're going to be bringing ideas of things that other communities are doing. And we're going to be talking with you about which of these make sense for the planning area. And some of them aren't going to make any sense at all, and some you're going to think, well, that's a great idea. And so we're going to be looking at protecting natural resources and open space. What are some good ideas from other communities, promoting compact development, designing smart streets, designing better parking areas, and having ways to have green stormwater management on site. And so we're going to be using an EPA checklist that goes through 46 different strategies for you to consider ideas from other communities. And then for each of those, we're going to be saying which is important for you to implement, not what does EPA think, but what do you think is important to do in the planning area. What are the next steps? Who should be involved in doing that? So we're going to have an interesting and fun time tomorrow. I hope some of you will be able to make it. And one of the things that will come out of the workshop will be a next steps memo that really documents what the recommendations are. So I hope to see some of you tomorrow. Again, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Brewer.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes, thank you for doing the class tomorrow. I do plan on being there all day long. Will you be able to go over particular case scenarios tomorrow in regard to Shreveport, Caddo Parish? I work a lot with Dudley Ditch and the constant flooding that the constituents of District 4 and a couple outlying areas have with that. And so could somebody tomorrow, are we able to bring you sheets, outlines, and say this is the timetable history and these people flooded here, 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 and here, and you could give us ideas on how to alleviate that?
Well, one thing we're going to do, we're going to be going through the good ideas from these other communities, and you all are going to be saying, this is what I think is a good idea for our area. But we did choose a subdivision for a 1-hour exercise. We chose a subdivision that's in your groundwater emergency area, one that was already built. And we're going to say, okay, now that we've learned about these things that other communities are doing, how could we redesign that subdivision, looking at things that we've just learned. And so it is an area that is in the groundwater emergency area and could benefit from a lot of these good ideas. So we are using an actual subdivision from the planning area in the groundwater emergency area as a case study. Yes.
Okay. Well, I look forward to finding out which one that is tomorrow. You have another person.
Okay.
Commissioner Williams?
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Mr. Brewer?
Ma'am? Go green.
First of all, I'd like to say welcome and thank you for telling about all this new innovative technology, the redistribution of water, and how, especially in the South, how we can redistribute water in flood zone areas, because we have a lot of areas that have flood zones, and you can't develop, you can't get insurance, commercial or residential in those flood zone areas, and how we can move water off and start developing. I'm very excited to learn how we're able to do that down here, and look forward to, because everything natural have to connect to water.
That's right.
Ecosystem have to have a relationship with water. We all need water. So I'm interested. When is the class tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning.
Morning? Y'all would have things.
Starts at 8:30.
All day. You have a DVD or anything? You have a website I can look you up?
You sure do.
Yeah,
We can. We have the presentation. We can share the presentation with you if you're not able to be there. We can send the presentation, a copy of the presentation to you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet.
That's it?
I just want to say I'd like to thank Commissioner Lynch for giving us the lead on this grant from EPA. We appreciate it because that's how Mrs. Brewer was able to come on this trip. Thank you.
Thank you. Over there.
Okay, Madam President, the last item, we have an update on legislative things going on in the Capitol. Mr. Grubb is going to get you up to speed on real quick. Real quick.
Hello, Commissioners. Once a year, I stand before you and having gone through the bills in the legislature and go over with you those that I think would be of interest to you. You have a list that I sent to you last week, and I put a hard copy in your station here today. That is, it's comprised of 41 bills. This is what's left after. I think there are somewhere around 1,000 bills filed in the legislature this year. It doesn't look to me like this legislative session is particularly intense as far as local government's concerned. Just as a refresher, y'all's general guidance over the years has been to, number one, oppose any legislation that increases costs or diminishes y'all's powers to operate your local government, and to favor legislation that enhances your ability to, in effect, govern a parish. Bottom line is keep the state out of your business. And so with those general guidelines and some consultation with the Police Jury Association, I have put some positions on some of these bills that are suggested positions. Obviously, I mean, the positions are yours to take or not, but those that I've taken, at least to my ability, they're consistent with what y'all have done in the past. When either Mr. Wilson or Mr. Lucky or I talk to legislators on behalf of y'all, we don't assume anything. So if y'all bear with me, I'm going to go through these pretty rapidly. And anybody's got any questions or concerns about any of these positions, let me know. But I'm going to start off with the first one, which is House Bill 7, which provides for sales and use tax exemption for certain items purchased by a blood bank. It's got about a $200,000 a year fiscal note on it, but since it's a tax exemption, a mandated tax exemption, I have suggested that it be something we oppose. And again, I'm going to keep plowing through, but if anybody's got any concerns at any time, just stop me. House Bill 60, it's one of 3 retirement bills that's on the list. This one basically says that if somebody retires from a particular retirement system, if they go back to work in a position that's where membership in that system is eligible, that they immediately lose their retirement benefits. The current law says that such a person can work, I think, for 500 and something hours before their retirement benefits are offset. So I put neutral on there because, and I want to say on the 3 retirement bills, I've talked to Dana Tully about them, who is the director of the Pro Employees Retirement System. And she didn't have a strong feeling about this one way or the other, and so unless y'all do, I just put on to watch that. And the next one, House Bill 61, really affects one person, and so I just put down to watch it. I mean, it's one of these, I'll just leave it at that. I don't think it's of any importance, but it bears watching since it does pertain to retirement. House Bill 103, relative to criminal penalties for possession of marijuana and synthetic cannabis. I put that on the list only because y'all have legislated in that area in the last year or so, and I thought it might be of interest to you. It really doesn't have anything to do with the administration of local government, but we're watching it. On the next page, House Bill 108 authorizes local government subdivisions to approve certain activities under the Consumer Choice of Television Act. As y'all know now, as of a couple of years ago, cable television providers are not required to have franchise agreements with local governments. They can get a statewide franchise, although so far they haven't really been doing that as far as those that affect us. And this simply requires, this bill affords local government, it requires that local government be consulted and sign off before anybody goes into the public right away. I mean, it seems to me to be something that would benefit us in terms of preserving the safety of our public rights of way. So I ascribe the support to that. House Bill 141 creates the crime of unlawful sales of firearms. That probably shouldn't be on the list. I just put that on there because it's a sexy topic right now, and unless anybody has any thoughts to the contrary, I may just scratch that off the list. House Bill 162, constitutional amendment to provide with respect to maximum authorized millage rates and provisions without voter approval. Right now, you have to notice a public hearing 30 days before a vote takes place on a tax proposition. This raises it to 60 days, makes it more difficult to in effect, it also provides that if the meeting where the public hearing is going to take place is postponed for any reason, and you have to start the 60 days all over again, makes it more difficult to pass a tax or to renew a tax. I put following y'all's guidelines, I should put support on that, because this would inhibit the ability of this body to do things like renew your taxes. I have neutral on there now, but since it's something that basically would inhibit local government authority, so to speak, I'm inclined to just basically put oppose on that unless anyone has any thoughts to the contrary. House Bill 179. by Henry Burns from Bossier City is it's a more or less local bill that this is the bill that would fund the Shreveport-Bossier Convention and Tourist Commission and the Independence Bowl out of local hotel motel taxes. I have neutral on there at this time. I know Commissioner Escaday has been very much involved in this legislation in his seat on the Sports Commission. I guess the diplomatic thing I'll say, Commissioner Escaday, is that the politics on this is still evolving, and so I've got neutral on there for the time being, and neutral is synonymous with watch. House Bill 205 is constitutional amendment that right now there's a statutory maximum of the sales taxes that can be imposed by local governments without going to the legislature for an increase. It's a 3%. This would eliminate the maximum and basically say, in effect, that any tax proposition that passes by the public, if it's over the 3%, that's okay. You don't have to go to the legislature to do it.
Mr. Burrell, is there any of these on here that's really pertinent? Can we just kind of look over these lists?
Give me just go to the ones I've got positions on. I really need to do that, Commissioner, because I don't want to. Let me go over the ones that we have taken that I'm suggesting either oppose or support. Can I do that? That's going to shorten it a good deal.
Okay.
On page 3, on the bottom page 2 and top page 3 is the bill that I think everybody's familiar with, which is the so-called Elio Motors bill that Mr. Epperson's been very much involved in. It's coming up for hearing on the House floor Monday. Appears to be in good shape. We hope to get that out of the legislature early in the process. House Bill 256 by Patrick Williams basically has to do with slum and blighted property. Right now, the property has to be held for 3 years before it can be redeemed and put back in commerce. The bill as drafted would cut it back to a year. I sat through the committee hearing on it last week. It's been reduced to 1.5 years, and so it makes it easier to sell adjudicated property and get it back into commerce. So I put support on that. On page, the bottom page 3 and top page 4, constitutional amendment to add ad valorem property tax exemptions for certain inventory held by manufacturers. I put oppose on that because it compromises the tax base. House Bill 454 provides relative to meetings of public bodies. I put opposed on that. It's really a bureaucratic thing. It requires a separate vote on any issue involving going into executive session. It just seems to be a bureaucratic gobbledygook to me, and so I'm suggesting we oppose it. 474 provides relative to the exemption from sales tax for inactive wells. No fiscal note on it, but I have a feeling it'll be pretty expensive up here, so I put oppose on that. 487 provides relative plans for public works projects and above-ground power lines. Put oppose on that because it transfers liability to the parish from contractors for performing some acts in public rights-of-way. Page 5, House Bill 568 creates the Louisiana Sales and Use Tax Commission. This basically provides for statewide collection of sales and use taxes. Is a bill that's filed every year. Municipalities and parishes oppose it every year, the theory being that we just do it better locally. I want to talk for a minute, Madam President, with your permission, about Senate Bill 7, which is by our local Senator Peacock. It provides for a recomputation of average final compensation for the purpose of the PROCA employees retirement system and about a half a dozen other retirement systems. Right, and I guess I want to say at the start that this bill in theory would affect me personally. I just want to put that on the table because it affects anybody that's employed that's in the PROCA system prior to January 1st, 2007. In 2006, as a means of helping to make the system more actuarially sound, the method for calculation of average final compensation for the purpose of retirement was changed from the highest 36 months to the highest 60 months for all future employees, but it left it alone for people that had been in before that time. So since then, any employees hired beginning January 1st, 2007, their retirement is a little bit less generous because it's figured on the highest 60 months rather than the highest 36 months. That was a compromise worked out in the 2006 legislative session. Senator Peacock's bill would affect PERS and about a half a dozen other systems that still use a 36-month basis. I happened to sit next to Senator Peacock at supper, the supper we had in Baton Rouge a couple of days ago, and talked to him at length about this bill. The only thing I can tell you all is this: the parochial system is more or less 100% actuarially funded. I got that from the director of the system a couple of days ago. So the argument in favor of doing this for PERS is that it would save money. In the estimate of the executive director, it would save perhaps as much as 2% of payroll. The argument against the effect of the bill is that you're changing the rules in the middle of the game for current employees. And a so-called compromise was reached in 2006, which this would basically reopen the compromise. Ms. Tully told me that the compromise reached in 2006 has resulted in about a 1%, roughly 1% decrease in the cost of the system. And of course, every year that goes by, with all the new employees going into the less generous calculation and older employees retiring, the effect of that 2006 compromise becomes greater every day. So the point is, in 2006 and again in 2010, when there was an effort once again to impose this 60-month calculation, y'all instructed us to oppose that as it applies to current employees. And unless the commission feels differently about it, that would be the position to take this time. But just to be consistent with what y'all have done in the past. But if that's something y'all want, this is a local legislator whose bill that we would be opposing. I'll tell you, the Police Jury Association is going to oppose it. I got that from Mr. Dartez a couple of days ago. Senate Bill 20, similar to a previous bill that just puts a 60-day requirement instead of a 30-day requirement for publications in advance of tax elections. So I ascribe opposed to that. Constitutional amendment on Senate Bill 29 prohibits unfunded mandates on political subdivision. That's obviously something that we would support. 51 provides relative to municipal it gives additional it would help enforce property standards expenses. I ascribe neutral to it, but I think that was a mistake. I should ascribe support because it would give us some additional powers if we elected. It would give y'all additional powers if you elected to take them in the way of enforcing property standards expenses. Page 6, Senate Bill 74. Constitutional amendment to remove the income limit on persons aged 65 or over receiving a special assessment on residential property. Right now, if you're over 65 and your income is limited to $50,000 or less, your assessment is frozen. Again, I put oppose on that simply because it is an inhibit, and it inhibits the tax base or cost money or whatever, how you want to put it. Bottom page 6, Senate Bill 82 phases. It's an exemption. It's a medical exemption on certain medical products. This has been filed before. We've opposed it before, as has the Police Jury Association. It's pretty expensive. No fiscal note on it yet, but it would be pretty expensive. Senate Bill 96, eligibility for disabled veterans. I'd like to suggest we change that to neutral because it's purely technical in nature and cures a problem that somebody. It doesn't change the law substantively, so I would suggest we just keep it like it is. Senate Bill 102. This is by our own Senator Buffington. exemptions from sales and use taxes for some medical drugs, in effect. Again, this has been done in the past. This is our local senator, but this has been done in the past, and I think when a fiscal note comes out on it, it's going to provide, it's going to be pretty expensive. And the last one is Senate Bill 227 at the bottom of page 7, and the top of page 8, which authorizes homeowners age 65 with financial hardship to postpone payment of their taxes on their homestead until death. Financial hardship is described as 250% or less of the federal poverty guarantees. And again, just applying y'all's guidance on restricting the tax base, I've got opposed on there. And I guess if anybody's got any questions, Madam President, I'd be happy to answer them. I guess I will just say that in absent instructions to y'all the contrary, I will assume that these recommendations are the Commission's.
Senate Bill 227, it says it provides for families in need of services. What is it providing? Do you know? It's from Senator Carver.
That is a very long, complex bill.
Is that the grant?
I'm going to tell you the truth. If that bill came up today, I was going to tell you that I am incapable of explaining that bill because it is very
We're
complex.
in bad trouble if you can't explain.
Well, we need to
We got to get a third young video.
we need to get Mr. Walker to come up and explain that one to y'all at another meeting. Yes, sir.
What about the one right above it on the groundwater? Is that established withdrawals of use of groundwater? Is that for businesses or homeowners or certain areas, or do you have an idea on that?
But where are we, Senate Bill?
Senate Bill 203. 203. Page 7 of 8. Establishes withdrawal limits of use of groundwater.
All this stuff about water today, God trying to tell us, though.
We can talk.
I tell you what, if it's okay with you, I think I can answer your question by just giving you a copy of the bill. Because it's short and sweet, and I'll
We'll
give
talk
it to you
about it
since,
later.
yeah.
I'd like it also.
Commissioner Lynch,
Okay.
did you have something?
Oh, I think if we're moving on, let's move on.
Okay, Commissioner Williams?
This Senate Bill 152 talks about the vision and the gun and weapon related to offenses for juvenile. You know anything? Can you talk to me later, or you need an
Give me the
opinion?
number again.
Senate Bill 152, Murray. On the last page. I guess 7 of 8 page, I'm sorry.
I mean, I read the bill this afternoon, Commissioner. It seems to me it's authorizing the court to do what it already can do. I mean, it can set up special dockets if it wants to. Our district court has set up what they call a rocket docket to help get through some criminal cases to speed the process along. I don't know why they can't do this already. So I just put
I'll
watch
get you
on
later.
it. Okay, sure.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Jones.
I would like a copy of House Bill 256 and Senate Bill 227.
House Bill 256 and Senate Bill 270?
227.
227.
The one I was asking about.
Thank you all very much. Oh, and I'll just say that y'all can expect to get a weekly report on Friday of every week sent to y'all by email.
Thank you, Mr. Brooke.
That concludes my report, ma'am. And thank you for your patience, I appreciate it.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Are there any other communiques?
Oh, I just want one thing, I have something. Commend Commissioner Epperson and administration for their work and efforts going down this week to the Legislation Committee, Transportation Committee, working on getting the M taken off of the ELO Motors car. So thank you all so very much for that. We heard it was a successful committee meeting, so thank you for doing that. Commissioner Lynn?
This past Tuesday night, Commissioner Lynch, Commissioner Johnson, and I attended the Tuesday night meeting that the city offered in reference to the water rate increases. A lot of citizens showed up and spoke their mind. The city gave, some may say, a compelling push for it, some maybe not. Unfortunately, I had to leave early and I was unable to listen to Commissioner Johnson's presentation regarding some of the sub-districts within the parish outside the city limits. I did get up and visit with them in regard to areas of the city and the amount of adjudicated property that we have, and then offered them an olive branch in working with them that if they were able to find an area of the city that was sparsely populated and they wanted to take adjudicated property, I would work with y'all to work with them in reference to giving them our share of adjudicated property for them to offer these people in these sparse, low-lying districts another house in another area that is more densely populated, so that in case they did not want to redo all the sewer lines in these lesser populated areas, that if that could be overlaid with another area where it's low-lying, they could actually turn it into a stormwater runoff area. And of course, in all of light of this, the city would then not have to maintain this part of the city, and it would revert back to the parish. And of course, with all of that, Mayor Glover wanted to know if I had been to Detroit, and I said that it had been quite a while since I have been to Detroit, and he encouraged me to go back again. And I told him that I was looking forward to going to Detroit in a few weeks as a member of the National Organization of Black County Officials with all rights and privileges, and that we are looking forward to that. And I have already set up meetings with some of the administrators in Detroit and with Wayne County to get tours and to figure out what worked best for them in them de-annexing part of Detroit and what did not work well for them. And hopefully we'll be able to bring that information back for the highest good of all of the city and the parish. That's all. Thank you.
Commissioner Lynch. Commissioner Lynch.
Oh, I wanted to get an update on our adjudicated property, well, not adjudicated property, on the properties that we have payment plans on. We got a list a couple of years ago on assessments that we've done over the years. We got an update a couple of years ago, and I want to see how much progress we've made in collection since the last report. Thank you.
Next, we need to adopt the minutes of the proper standards meeting
I'm on the speak.
held on March 18th.
Excuse me. It's not up. Commissioner Williams.
I was on the speak. I wasn't going to speak, but after this gentleman spoke
It
about
didn't come up.
not taking water out of the district that I represent, I think it's a very ignorant idea, first of all. Are you saying that poor people,
I think the mayor thought that.
are you saying that poor people don't have the right to have decent drinking water and sewage just because they're poor? And we need to take all the water system line up and put all the good water sewage in the good neighborhoods and make them more populated, and those that are sprawl out of the poor district, what they're supposed to do is just die out, drink out the ditch, drink toilet water? I mean, why would you say something like that? I wasn't going to even say that. I wasn't going to even say anything, but it kind of got under my skin a little bit, that any elected official would say anything is ludicrous as not providing basic human water for poor people. And the model that worked in Detroit is not the model for Shreveport and Caddo Parish. I think all citizens deserve the basic fundamentals of water, and that would be an environmental injustice. It was not to rebuild, try to rebuild and bring people back to the neighborhood they once lived. Rebuild, reinvest, and revitalize by using new infrastructure and water and sewage, streets and roads. They need everything, and that they don't need to take away. They need to reinvest and rebuild. Definitely one of the natural resources that anybody needs, regardless of where they at. Even if they in Africa, people need water. So what we need to do is not be talking about how we can make things less attractive and achievable for poor people, but how to make things better for poor people. Because we have a responsibility as elected officials and as Christians to always care about the poor. I don't want nobody to ever get slighted because you're sitting up on this bench that you're not supposed to be concerned about the less fortunate and the poor people. And unfortunately, a lot of people have forgot that why we here, not to support just the have, but also find a way to connect the have and the have-nots together. By showing them a better way, by showing them they don't have to drop out of school and be literate and get pregnant, that they can go to school, get education, be successful, they play by the rules. But when you say things like that, I take it very personal, because those are the people that I try to improve every day to make their life better, not worse. Because they already got a hopeless situation that they're living in right now. They got despair, they have no hope, and we try to restore some hope back to them and give them the American dream that they deserve. So, you know, now we don't need to take none out of the district that I represent. We need to bring everything we can to make it better. That's what the CBG money is for. That's what they earmark the money for, to get it down to the grassroots people that deserve it. To put the water and sewer, to put the street, to put the new infrastructure. It's just not happening. So I hope that we would find ways to reinvest, revitalize, and rebuild urban America and make it better. Thank you.
Commissioner Land?
Thank you for clarifying that, and I could not agree with you more. And if I did use that word poor in my sentence, which I don't remember doing, but if I did, I meant poor in population, not poor in spirit or poor in finance. When you have an area of a city where there's one or two people that live within several blocks, and then that's the only people that live in that area, it does cost a lot to provide for them. And if their home is 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom or 2-bath or 3-bath, what the government could do is provide for these people by actually serving everybody very well, by offering to them, not by force, by offer, another house in a more densely populated area that, whether it be new or whether it be fixed up, but several options for them to choose from. It wouldn't be, you have to get up and you have to move here. It would be, here's 5 options. Do any of them appeal to you? And then the city could thus relocate people from a less populated area to a more populated area into a home that hopefully they would like even more, and at the same time save everybody a lot of money in the redoing of the sewer and the lines for that part of the city. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to work everywhere, and I'm not saying that this is going to work in the scale that Detroit has done this, because they're so much larger of a city. I am going to say that we have had cases with Caddo Parish, and I know the city has had cases with themselves, where we purchased property that constantly flooded and moved people off of it and did a no-build zone on it, moved them somewhere else or paid them appraised value of the house. This is actually better than paying appraised value of the house, because you're actually able to give them something that could be more than what their house would be valued at. And so this is giving more and taking less, but giving more to the people and also taking less from the taxpayer, all at the same time. And so this is designed to help everyone. And that's what I mean by this idea. And at the same time, where we have flooding issues within the city and the parish, that if we were able to find, and all I'm asking is that we just look at this idea. I'm not saying we adopt it, I'm just saying we look at it as an option. If we found an area that's low-lying, that a couple people live in, that it's a bunch of land, that we could then in turn offer the people that live there a better home, hopefully to their liking, somewhere else for them to move at their choice, and then take that and we could use that for stormwater drainage runoff, and then at the same time we wouldn't have to redo all the sewer lines and the water lines at that same area. No, I'm with you 100%, Commissioner Williams. Thank you for making that clear. That's all, Madam President.
Commissioner Escaday.
May I request that in the future, maybe personnel policies, procedures, that when we're given a communique report, can't it be something germane to an issue that's working before us? You know, if you want to tell us what you're up to and post your whole life, that's what Facebook's for. But, you know, I mean, something germane, having to sit here and listen to these are issues that would have to go before a committee anyway, that are out of our purview, they're not on the agenda, so, man, just, you know, or I'll be happy to talk to you if I got time later, but, you know what I'm saying, use Facebook, baby.
Rarely do I talk, and so I guess you're referring to other people.
I'm for everybody.
Well,
if it's not a communique is, hey, I got to give you this information.
I listen to you way more than I listen to myself.
Not under communique reports, agenda items. I hope you've learned something.
Point of order.
It's good to see y'all doing it. You like that, don't you?
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Adopt the minutes of proper standards meeting held on March 18th.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Dominic, second by Commissioner Epperson. Are there any discussion? If not, please vote. That passes. Next item, please.
Adopt the minutes of special commission meeting held on April 1st.
That April Fool for real?
Matthew's wedding day, so moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Escaday,
Matthew Lynn's
second by
wedding day.
Commissioner Dominic. Are there any discussions?
Is that germane to the
If
subject?
not, please, oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Thibodeau,
Yeah, I'd like to move the next minutes along with that.
second.
Speed along.
Got to read it over.
Adopt the minutes of the regular meeting held on April 4th, include that with what we're doing now.
Second.
Please vote. That passes. Next item.
Next, we move to public hearing on zoning place appeal. Zoning place appeal, BAP 513, property located at 4731 North Lakeshore Drive on the southwestern side of North Lakeshore Drive, 500 feet northwest of Ellison Boulevard. Paul Yulee, applicant and appellant.
Is anyone here to speak in favor of this?
Greetings, my name is John Settle, and I'd like to speak for Mr. Yulee. I knew I'd cause problems if I came. I thought I was at a council meeting just then, but I had a commission.
Uh-oh.
And I just hope that Mayor Glover doesn't get too entranced with Detroit, because, you know, a receiver was appointed for that city. And so I know that Dave Bing has been working hard trying to deal with a city that's lost 750,000 people and has some major challenges.
You won't be like Detroit.
Mr. Yulee is a lifelong resident of Caddo Parish. He presently pays over approximately $7,500 in parish taxes. I think it's $74.67. He owns about 10 properties in Caddo Parish, and what we're trying to do in this particular one is to allow a special exception use to put a mobile home on North Lakeshore. And this is the part of North Lakeshore that's the old Blanchard Road. Right across the street from him is the Ramus Rail Yard, which is not real attractive for development. Behind his lot is a lot of wooded area. And along this stretch of North Lakeshore, he owns 2 houses and some commercial buildings. In fact, for about a half a mile on each side, there's no other properties at all. I believe that this would be an appropriate use of the property. He will maintain it because he has other properties there. I do not think it would be harmful to other areas in the near proximity. I know that the Lakeview Homeowners Association, I believe, has sent a letter to the ZBA opposing this, which is probably their standard letter. My client actually lives in a Lakeview subdivision. I think this would be an appropriate request for a special exception. Any questions?
Can't ask questions.
Can't ask questions.
I'm sorry, did y'all have any from me? I'm sorry.
Can't ask
Oh,
questions.
I
A few
apologize.
minutes. When we come back,
Yeah.
you come back.
Thank you.
We'll ask.
Anyone here speak in opposition? Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Next, we move to public hearing on zoning ordinances. Zoning case P113 regarding to ordinance number 5299, 2013, property located 5062 Jefferson Page Road.
Anyone here to speak in favor of this ordinance? Anyone here to speak in opposition? Next item, Mr. Clerk.
That concludes public hearing on zoning ordinances. We move to public hearing on ordinances. Ordinance number 5300, 2013, amending and reenacting Chapter 52, Article 3, Section 52-150 of the Code of Ordinances of the Caddo Parish pertaining to construction and extension of waterworks systems.
Anyone here to speak in favor? Anyone here to speak in opposition? Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Ordinance number 5301, to deem property surplus and authorize the sale of surplus property owned by the Parish of Caddo.
Is anyone here to speak in favor? Anyone here to speak in opposition? Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Ordinance number 5302, to authorize the transfer of surplus HP printer owned by the Parish of Caddo to the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office.
Is anyone here to speak in favor? Is anyone here to speak in opposition? Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Ordinance number 5303, declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus and authorize the parish administrator or designee to sell the parish's tax interest.
Is anyone here to speak in favor? Anyone here to speak in opposition? Next item, Mr. Clerk.
I'll conclude public hearing on ordinances. We move to zoning case appeal for final action. Zoning case appeal BAP 513, property located at 4731 North Lakeshore Drive.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Epperson. Are there any discussion, Commissioner Johnson?
Yes, Mr. Settle, would you come up?
Yes. Yes, sir.
What was the basis for the ZBA to deny?
I did not attend. It was a 4-1 vote, and it's my understanding that basically they took the letter from the homeowners association. I just don't know. I wasn't there for the discussion. Mr. Yulee, do you know why we denied it? I'm not sure. We provided pictures, I believe, of all the properties he owns. Those are the only residences or buildings within a half mile, north, south, east, and west. I don't know what the reason was for denying it, but I was not on council at that time, so I did not attend, sir.
All right, now the property that we're talking about, it's already, there is a trailer that is in close proximity to that property.
There's two houses, and the trailer is between that. He put the trailer there without realizing he needed a special exception. He has not rented it. It would be skirted and everything. So you have a brick house, the trailer, and another house. He owns the brick house and the new trailer and the old house. There's an old trailer up there that's not inhabited that was on that property when he acquired that, but we're talking about the new mobile home between two residential houses.
Okay, and the exception is stated here, R1D for a mobile home. So isn't that already in the 1RD, or what's the difference between it?
It is my understanding there has to be a special exception for a mobile home in an R1D area. Might need some.
He's requesting a special exception.
I want to hear from MPC.
Ma'am?
I
Yeah.
want to hear.
She's not up on that.
She's not.
Don't drag her into that.
Yeah. Are you finished?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynch?
There's two things I'm trying to clarify.
Can't
Is
hear
the
you.
motion to uphold the ZBA, or is the motion to overturn the ZBA?
Motion is to overturn it. It says to request to rezone property.
And since they turned it down, there were no stipulations. But I see some handwriting on his application that probably need to be added by the commission pertaining to the skirting and this pad, 20 by 20 pad about the driveway. if we overturn it, we need to include stipulations, those stipulations to make sure they get done.
Those are agreeable. Yeah, the handwriting is by my client,
Right,
but
but
he is willing, if we can get the special exception, he will skirt it, have an appropriate pad and a circular driveway.
Okay.
That will be the conditions before he will rent it, and that would be a conditions of part of the special exception we're requesting, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would like to add that to my motion as well.
What is that?
To add the skirting
Oh.
for the trailer and also the 20 by 20 pad in the
Circular driveway.
circular driveway.
Like amending it or
I'll just add on
extend
to,
it?
add
Okay.
on to.
Commissioner Dominic?
So Commissioner Johnson, your motion is to allow it to be rezoned, is that correct?
Correct,
With the stipulations that you just talked about?
correct.
Is it a 1982 mobile home? Is that right? It says 1982
Yes.
being written over here.
Yes.
And is this where your client's going to be living, or?
No, he will rent it, he owns all that property in that stretch, so he has a rent house on one side, he wants to rent that mobile home, he has another rent house on the other side. I say side, on the same side of the street.
The MPC cited they denied it because of incompatibility with other homes on this block. Is there, and then he wrote, your client wrote false, there are other mobile are there other mobile homes in the area?
And that stretch there is about a 300-yard stretch. There is another old mobile home that he also owns, but is not being utilized.
Okay. And it said, mobile home will set precedence as there are no mobile homes approvals on this block, and that's why he wrote false then, just what you said, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir. There is another mobile home that's not being actually occupied. It's an old one that was on the property. We bought it many years ago. As far as the precedence, if you ride that part of Blanchard Road, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but you can kind of see it from there, depending on which way you're looking. And I don't think that's a precedent that would be restrictive on further considerations by the ZBA.
It's a 40-year.
They've got pictures in their file.
40 years old. Commissioner Wade, you finished? Yeah. Commissioner Williams?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Let me just say for the record that I'm going to support this motion in the context that the Commissioner stated. However, in order for us to get our act together, get our code system together, we need some uniformity. We can't continue to commingle trailer parks and home, residential and commercial. That's why we're in the mess we're in on Wells Island Road. We got a double standard, two-tier system. And we make special interests with special people. And in the future, I can't wait to get a master plan for our unified code system to be able to work in its full capacity. We can't get the type of growth we need because we got too many things that we're doing. I feel is not in the best interest and not compatible to that particular community. But because of my colleague, this is what he requested, I'm going to follow his lead on this, but we can't continue to have a double standard system. If it's not built for trailer parks, if it's not built for trailer, it shouldn't be there. If it says commercial, it needs to be commercial. If it's residential, it's residential. That's why we have rules and regulations. We're going to make special except for special people. I know that people do bid and they need sometimes to have trailer park for people to stay there because it's commercial. I do understand that. But I just think that we need to take a strong position on property standards and zoning and ZBA. That's why they're there. So I'm going to support it at this time, but in the future, I'm going to take a better look at residential and commercial and hope our uniform code system be up by then. Thank you.
What's the condition of the trailer? It's a 40-year-old trailer.
It is in good condition. My client is a handyman, and he has restored that basically on the inside. Just like his rental properties. He has other rental properties there. He's not going to do anything to just diminish the value of the other two rental properties.
30 years. Well, it's gonna be for residential use or business use?
Residential.
You can rent it out.
He has one rent house, then the next lot is where he wants this, he has this trailer that he doesn't have approval to zoning, and he has another rent property, and then he has some small commercial property on that, all that 300-yard stretch there. It's about like 2 city blocks that he owns on that side of the road, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Johnson?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Lakeview is a very unique neighborhood. You can actually stand on that piece of property and see other mobile homes. So right now, the neighborhood association and other neighbors are trying to develop something with the MPC to eliminate trailers in the future. But right now, there's nothing that really blocks that from happening. So to be consistent with what you already have in the neighborhood, I mean, why deny this gentleman when you already have some already existing in the neighborhood? Until that ordinance change, or until they get something in place that denies bringing in mobile homes, why exclude one person when you got 15 to 20 others? It's something that they're working on, and until that happens, it's open for that to happen. It's not something that, you know, they want to see on a daily basis, a mobile home coming into it, but this gentleman owns most of the property that's around him, and one of the questions that they do ask in the MPC meeting is, have you talked to your near neighbors? And if he is his near neighbor, then basically he supports that. Across the street from this location is KCS, which is industrial. So he has really no residential neighbors in front of him. The neighbors on the side of him, he controls because he owns those properties. And then behind him is woods. So who's impacted? No more than himself. So I would ask that you would support my request to overturn the ZBA's opinion.
Any more discussion? If not, please vote. That passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Zoning ordinance for final passage, ordinance number 5299, 2013, in regard to zoning place P113, property located 5062 Jefferson Page Road.
To approve MPC report subject to the stipulations.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Lynch, second by Commissioner Epperson. Are there any discussion?
There was no opposition, and the MPC vote was unanimous in support of the change.
Okay. Please vote. That passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Move the ordinance for final passage, ordinance number 5300 of 2013, amending and reenacting Chapter 52, Article 3, Section 52-150 of the Code of Ordinance, Parish of Caddo, pertaining to construction and extension of waterworks systems, stating the parish shall assume 50% of the cost of any such improvements, and the adjoining property owner shall assume 50%.
Madam Chairman, I'm going to ask that we take it off on the agenda at this time and bring it back up at a later date.
Second.
I want to wait till the outcome of the resolution for the Louisiana Office of Community Development, Community Water Enrichment grant. At such time, and we need to maybe reach out to our Department of Health and Human Services, maybe get some more time until we're able to find out what's going to be the outcome of this grant. And then at such time, we can make a wise, intelligent decision on the future water of the Wells Island Road in that particular community.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Epperson to remove this ordinance number 5300 to a later date. Are there any discussion? None, please vote. That passes. Next item, Mr.
Ordinance
Clerk.
number 5301 of 2013, deeming property surplus and authorizing sale of surplus property owned by Caddo Parish.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by Commissioner Williams. Are there any discussion? If not, please vote. That passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Ordinance number 5302 of 2013, authorized transfer surplus HP printer owned by the Parish of Caddo to the Caddo Parish Sheriff's
So
Office.
moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by Commissioner Dominic. Commissioner Johnson.
Yeah, I got a question. I guess since I'm new, why are we?
Not new. Somebody
Well,
tried.
why are we transferring the printer to the sheriff's office?
Here now.
Why are we transferring the printer to the sheriff's office?
We in Globo did last time, so I didn't get a chance to really discuss it. So I want to discuss it now.
Because he asked
We
for
were purchasing a new one, and apparently they found out that we had an old one. They just requested that we donate it to them.
Well, this is just me. I think we got enough non-profit organizations that probably would need a printer more than the sheriff's office.
Well, it's not this is a GIS
It's a plotter.
plotter, yeah, it's a big thing. It's not
maps.
just a printer, it prints big maps.
Okay.
It's not just a regular printer, it's what they call a plotter.
It's a plotter.
It's a plotter.
It's huge.
Okay.
Yeah, it's large.
No, we should say plotter than printer. I'm good.
you carried that in there.
Commissioner Lynn.
Robert, what is this used for?
No, I'm good.
It's
a
GIS.
Mapping.
All these maps and such that we print up for y'all.
We got a new one?
Yes, ma'am.
How much does the new one cost?
I don't have time to look it up. I don't have either.
15.
15,000? Hope the next time I request something, y'all can punch a button and get it out to me faster. I don't know if it's the machine or the person, but whichever one it is, I hope it's faster. Okay.
We've already
Any more
took care of that.
discussion? If none, please vote.
Blame no look.
That passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Ordinance number 5303 of 2013, declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus and authorized the Parish Administrator designated to sell the Parish's tax interest.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Johnson. Are there any discussion? If none, please vote. Next item, Mr. Clerk. That passes.
Local assessment ordinances for introduction by title. Local assessment ordinance number 49 of 2013, accepting the construction and improvement of a water line within the right-of-way of a portion of Galesbury Road being located in portion of lots 7, 14, 16, 17, and 20, Shadow Pines Unit 1, lots 1, 10, 11, 12, Shadow Pines Estates Unit 2, lots 1, 2, 3, and 4, Shadow Pines Estate Unit 5, lots 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, Shadow Pines Estates Unit 6, said subdivision being located in Section 34, Township 16, North, Range 13 West, Caddo Parish, providing for due assessment and providing for the imposition of liens and privileges in favor of the Parish of Caddo. Local assessment number 50 of 2013, accepting the construction and improvement of water line within right-of-way of a portion of Spruce Oak and Green Oak Drives being located in portions lots 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Wild Oak Subdivision Unit 4, said subdivision being located in Section 21, Township 16 North, Range 13 West, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, providing for the assessment due and providing for the imposition of liens and privileges in favor of Caddo Parish, providing for the terms of payment. Next, we move to ordinances for introduction by title. Ordinance number 5306, granting to Chesapeake Operating Incorporated the right to drill under certain properties owned by Caddo Parish in Township 16 North, Range 14 West. Ordinance number 5307 of 2013, declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus and authorize the Parish Administrator designated to sell tax interest. Next, we move to work session, ratify the minutes for April 15.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Williams, second by the Chair. Are there any discussion? If none, please vote. That passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Move to resolutions. Resolution number 18 of 2013, support for the submission for a grant to Louisiana Office of Community Development Community Water Enrichment Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Lynn. Are there any discussion? Commissioner Lynch?
I have a question. Is this the same fund that the other two projects that we have, that they said they ran out of money? They approved them?
No, this is,
Or is this a different fund?
it's a different, we did get $250,000
Right.
in a community enrichment grant for Mr. Willie Washington's case, which was one of those LCBG projects we put in for, but it wasn't approved, but I think we were like in the number 3 or 4 in the list. So it's every other year process, so hopefully we'll be in the next round of funding, but this is separate from that.
This is, okay.
This is grant,
Is
different
there
money.
any, so there is money in this fund, the state?
Yes, ma'am. There is some money. I talked to Representative Morris today, and he had to send letters of support and his application. And he said he got it, he's working on it, but he didn't know how much we will be getting. I did have a conversation today about 2 o'clock.
Okay, do we have a lobbyist in Baton Rouge to help us bird all these projects and legislation and all this other stuff going on down there?
No, ma'am, we probably do not have a lobbyist. We go ourselves when certain issues come up, and we've been doing it internally. We don't have an external lobbyist.
I'll go loud, I think I can get it done.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, I've already expressed myself, you know, about that. We keep coming up on the short end. You know, we don't have a grant writer, we don't have a lobbyist. And, you know, every time I look around, folks below I-10 are getting all kind of money. And, you know, counties across the United States are getting all types of money and assistance from the feds, from the state, and nobody is down. I mean, there's money down there, but you got to know where to go get it. And you know, the feds are pushing a lot of money down to the states, and you know, nobody tells us about it. Those seem to do a pretty good job of finding out where the money is, but somehow we don't. I don't think we're getting our fair share, considering we're the 4th largest parish, as the state's 3rd largest city. We are not, Caddo Parish is not getting enough of the money. And so we just need to keep that in mind going forward. We can leverage, you know, our resources a whole lot better than what we're doing. I mean, the money is there. So, thank you.
I'm going to pick it back, Madam Chairman, just some.
Mr. Williams?
If we can't send our attorney, we can send an assistant attorney. I believe she can get a lot done down, I think.
I agree with that.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
She's doing all the work.
I just said,
We're not voting
We
yet.
have voted. We have. Please vote. Next item.
Resolution 19, 2013, authorize Caddo Parish Administrator to request and authorize the Louisiana State Mineral and Energy Board and Office of Mineral Resources to accept nominations and advertise for oil and gas and mineral leases.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Dominic, second by Commissioner Williams.
Got stuck. Third.
Are there any discussion? If none, please vote. That passes. Next item.
Resolution 20 of 2013 to become a member of America's Counties for Energy Independence.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Smith, second by Commissioner Escaday. Are there any Commissioner Lynch?
I apologize, I don't have my notes in front of me, and this particular group, can somebody give me a little information on them?
Commissioner Lynch, this is an organization that's in formation, you might say. There's, I went to a organizational meeting they had a couple of weeks ago in Dallas. They're trying to attract, I think it's 90 counties to join within the next, by the end of May, as I recall. The mission of the organization is to be a political force of counties. I mean, it's county. The membership is limited to county governments that are that benefit from shale drilling of oil and gas. they have hired a lobbyist to help implement that objective. They've tentatively scheduled their first annual meeting to take place in October, invited, I think, Boone Pickens to come be the keynote speaker. And they will also operate as an information bank for counties similarly situated in terms of providing information to them from other counties that have been through the same sorts of things. For example, they're interested in our ordinances that y'all did a few years ago that protect our infrastructure and that sort of thing. The bottom line is, it would be a group to foster the shale drilling of oil and gas in the country.
Commissioner
How
Lee?
did we, oh, sorry, how did we find out about the organizational meeting?
How did we find out about it? I got a call last September, October from the first 3 or 4 people that were trying to get this together. I think just because of Caddo's prominence in shale drilling, and there's also a concentration of people interested in this from Ohio and Pennsylvania and New York, and they're hoping to get a geographical mix from around the country. If y'all elect to join this organization, I've told them I would do what I could to try to influence our neighboring parishes to get involved in the organization too.
It's not a political group. Is it a bipartisan?
It doesn't have anything to do with political parties. It's just...
Well, I mean, I know that county commissioners, there are some county commissioners that are involved.
It's all county commissioners in terms of the board of directors and that sort of thing. It's a totally county-driven thing. The board consists, I think, of 7 people. I'm not sure whether they have appointed all the board members yet. I know they've appointed 5 or 6 of them. And under their bylaws, all the members of the board have to be elected county officials.
All righty, thank you.
Commissioner Lynn?
Is this group, are they the same or associated with the NACO American Counties for Energy Freedom?
No.
No, sir.
It's separate. Okay, all right, thank you.
Commissioner Epperson?
Charles, you mentioned that you had spoken with someone with NACO, and what was their position?
No, sir, I hadn't. I don't think I said that.
I'm talking about in a committee meeting, not today. I asked you, had we said anything to NACO, and I thought you stated that they thought it would be sort of contentious
Well,
in the committee meeting when we voted on it.
I have not spoken to anybody with NACO, but they had conversations with NACO folks, and NACO is such a large organization that there are counties on both sides of the fence, so to speak, as far, shale drilling is politically controversial in some parts of the country, and I think NACO is too big of an organization to take an advocacy role on this particular political position, because some of their members would favor, some of their members are sites of shale drilling that favor it taking place, but they also have members in areas of the country where it's more controversial. So the information that I got from these folks is that
NACO
didn't think this was something they wanted to take on.
And what did you say that fee was?
The membership dues are $2,500 per year.
And you think it's going to stay at that amount, or you don't know?
This is an organization just getting started, Commissioner Epperson, and I can't predict the future, but I wasn't on, I didn't participate, but I witnessed a discussion about the due structure, and they just thought that this was an appropriate due structure, is all I can tell you.
In the website, anything that's up and functioning?
They have a website that's reserved, and when they indicated at the meeting last month that they were going to have it up and operational by the end of April. I haven't checked in the last few days to see if it's operational.
That's all I have.
Commissioner Escudé?
I would encourage everyone to consider the fact that we need to do this, and there are several reasons. There are, if you look at the geography of the United States as a whole, there are just really, in comparison, a handful of counties and parishes that have benefited from hydraulic fracturing as it relates to shale formations. That's why we're in good shape today and made it through the recession. It is a contentious issue, especially as it comes to groundwater contamination. We know there's been one documented case that hydraulic fracturing contaminates groundwater supply. Generally, that's because the fracking takes place at approximately 20 to 2,200 feet, 22,000 feet. Water tables are 500 or less, so the water would actually have to back up and go through several layers of formations of earth and igneous rock and clay and all that kind of stuff. It's almost impossible, but it's an emotional issue. As you know, the Marcellus Shale in Pennsylvania, New York, you know, the people are out there very concerned with it. But this organization is forming to be in a protective mode because the Secretary of Energy and the Federal Department of Interior are very intent on looking at regulating fracturing, hydraulic fracturing. If the federal government bans it or starts to over-regulate it, it could seriously put the brakes on the development we've had here, over in West Texas and North Dakota. NACO's non-interest in this is understandable because as a general whole, it doesn't fall into their area of interest. It only involves a few counties. So this is an opportunity for us to get in on the ground floor of an organization, a charter member of an organization that is going to be formed strictly by counties that have this one common thing, and that is hydraulic fracturing, to protect our interests, to protect the jobs we have here, to protect our way of life and what we know. And we need to do it so that we have an organization that has a ready presence in Washington, D.C. to fight off any legislation that would threaten basically what's been our livelihood. So $2,500 a year, you look at it's a small investment with the charter members they plan to add. It gives them a lot of lobbying power, and we need this because as a parish, as a single county, we have no voice and we're not going to have any voice on this. And if you don't think it's a lot of jobs, every one of us here have constituents that are benefiting directly or indirectly from hydraulic fracturing, that activity, because without that there's no Haynesville play. So I'd rather be a leader and on the ground floor. Caddo Parish has a lot of experience. We're one of the first, and it's smart to do until we realize that maybe we don't need to do it anymore. But I encourage you to support this.
Mr. Dominic.
I think Commissioner Escudé said a lot. The same thing that I was going to say was that the fracturing process is I guess can be a contentious issue with a lot of different people and places throughout the country. And we did vote on this, and it was brought to us before the Natural Resources Committee. It seems that this is something that would give us the ability to have a say-so to protect our interests, because we have such positive things have happened to the Caddo Parish with the Haynesville Shale. And it seems like a worthwhile organization to at least be in, and I'm going to be supporting this and hope all the other commissioners would too.
Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. It's not that I think it's a great idea to be a part of a movement, but I hope in the near future when organization comes out of committee that we would know what the cost would be. I just found out about the cost today. But I definitely would be supporting this, and hope when there are other committees, organizations that are forming, that we all will support those as well. Because I think we're setting a precedent here by doing this today, by taking it from the ground level, being the first. There's going to be some firsts that you may not support, that may not be your interest, but I hope that you will have the professional courtesy that support some things that support different districts, but this supports the entire parish. And I think I like to be first in doing things, so I'm going to be supporting it. Thank you.
Commissioner Smith.
I know this is maybe new to some of you, but this came before a committee and was pretty well, I think, voiced in the committee. It is an important thing for us to do. We all know what natural resource monies we've gotten out of this, and this is not the last we're going to get, but we need to be on the plus side of the things and be on top of the things, so I fully support it.
Mr. Lynch?
I just had, benefits notwithstanding, I don't think that, and we had this issue with the Department of Natural Resources and had to work through some issues. I mean, there are some issues related to hydraulic fracking that governments and have to make sure that citizens are protected. I don't have enough information on this organization. I know it's just forming, in the last, 8 or 9 months. I don't know what their positions are. I've tried to find it on the website. I mean, I have nothing. Do you have something that talks about what their mission, what their goal is, what their legislative agenda is? I mean, I don't want somebody going out, be a part of something that I don't really know what they're going to be representing. I mean, what the focus of the organization is. Because when I looked on, a couple of the guys that, the county commissioners that are forming the organization, they're not on NACO's Energy and Environment Committee. So I'm just not really sure what they're going to be advocating.
Commissioner Lynch, the only way I know to answer your question is to say they've not formulated any legislative policy or anything yet because they haven't even had their initial meeting as an organization. All they had in Dallas was just a general organizing meeting where they put out a draft of their bylaws and that sort of thing.
Well, do you have that? Do you have that? What we can see what the...
I have something that's responsive to what I have something I can give you that is not here right now that I used to basically to prepare these whereas clauses in the resolution. And I guess in particularly when I said in the resolution that various counties around the country are organizing to form this organization which will provide a national voice for counties benefiting from development of shale oil and natural gas and be a resource for all of its members for information and ideas promoting the safe development of these assets while at the same time protecting county infrastructure. That was basically lifted from the materials that they have as far as what their mission statement is.
Let me just say what my pause is on this. I don't really want to be dealing with some right-wing extremist type group. It's anti-government, anti-regulation, because I don't think all regulation is bad. I don't want to be out-regulated in an industry that's important to Louisiana. I think none of us, want that. But I'm just not sure, because I don't have anything.
Well, I guess the only, let me say this, at this meeting in Dallas, they had a technical expert there, a fellow that was a professor from one of the Ivy League schools that they're going to use for some of their technical stuff. But I guess the comment I'd make is that, if you pay their dues, it's kind of an annual, the membership is annual. And I'll tell you, if we join this organization, I'll undertake the responsibility of keeping y'all advised of the positions they take, and at any time, if they get to where y'all aren't comfortable maintaining your membership, and it's always as easy to withdraw as it is to apply.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Lynn?
Because of how much the natural gas industry means to Caddo Parish, I'm definitely going to be supporting this. What I do want to know is similar to what Commissioner Lynch wanted. Will you send us the copy of their mission statement and their bylaws and the information that you have?
I'll send you a copy of whatever I have.
And then also, who do we have at the table? If this is a joining of counties, who from Caddo Parish is sitting at their table? Who's our vote? And if it's now newly forming?
Well, they have a 7-person, they have 7 authorized positions on their board, Commissioner Lynch, Commissioner Lynn,
He's been called worse.
I know he has.
You never know.
Not too much.
Can it get any worse?
Yeah, not too much.
No.
And how many of those positions have been already committed, I don't know. I mean, when,
Well, if we're a founding member, it seems that we sort of have a say in the way it's formed. That's the way I look at it. I mean, I don't know.
Are we a family member?
And that's what,
well, look, the best way I can explain it is this. There were probably representatives of 10 or 12 different jurisdictions at this meeting in Dallas. It's the first time I met any of these people, and I have been at the Natural Resources Committee. There was a statement made that Commissioner Escaday in particular would be interested in serving on their board. And all I can tell you is if y'all elect to join the organization, I'm going to make a good faith effort to make that happen. But I can't make any guarantees because I don't know what commitments have been made already. And I didn't really contact them about it before now because I need to, I guess I hope I didn't do this erroneously, but I kind of wanted to know if y'all wanted to join this organization before I started politics at the board seats.
okay. Will they have representation, a booth of some sort, some people to visit with at the Tarrant County NACO convention next month, or in July?
I have no idea, but I can find out.
Okay, thank you. Will you find that out and
Yes, sir.
email probably me and everybody else that information? That's all, Madam President. Thank you.
Commissioner Escaday.
I understand maybe some of the reservations about that. It's new, and maybe it's scary, but NACO was new when it was formed, and NOBCO was new when it was formed, and the Police Jury Association were new when they were formed. There were groups that got together collectively to protect their interests. This is all this is. This is not party line. This is counties and parishes that have hydraulic fracturing going on, trying to protect that interest. And not to do it in a hostile way, as Mr. Grubb said, in a responsible way, using new techniques. I mean, I'm working in the oil and gas industry. I'm very familiar with what we're doing. I talked to Dr. Hanson about it. It's not that we want to do anything irresponsible, the counties and all. We want to continue to get the eggs from the golden goose while keeping the goose fat and happy, you know. I mean, only an idiot would want to destroy the environment. Only an idiot thinks that the owners of these companies and all want to have something happen on the site that cost them millions of dollars to have to repair. I mean, it's about responsible things. So it's protecting these things, and it's not necessarily trying to get a green light to do anything the industry wants. It's just the opposite. It's to, before the government regulates, to have the evidence and the science that says this is why this needs to be regulated, and here are the facts. And, you know, I think it'll be an exciting opportunity for us to be on the ground floor of something. And it's not serving the political interest. It's serving our jobs and our way of life. It's kind of like, you know, the Association of Crawfish Farmers or Shrimpers down in South Louisiana. You don't think, they're all parties, they're all kinds, they're all backgrounds. They have one thing in common, the crawfish or the shrimp. This is about oil and gas in our industry. And as Mr. Grubb said, if they do anything egregious or that we don't agree with, we can not join. Do you really think I sit here and everything that NACO or every position that the Police Jury Association takes that meets my philosophical and political scrutiny? Well, of course not. But I don't want to not join the organization as a whole just because they're not in lockstep on 90% of it. I agree with most of what they do. But that's not why these things are formed. You know, you're going to have differences of opinions, but the common wisdom should prevail. I will note that when this was brought up to several of us, or mentioned, and I talked to Dr. Hanson, he's familiar with the formation of this organization, that the administration could have chosen on its own to join this organization. It has it when it's an authority and when it's budget to do it, if it deemed it in the best interest of the parish. But after discussion, it was determined that we thought, you know, that we would prefer to see this be an action of the body. And I hope that's worth something. So there's nothing, you know, there's nothing to hide here. I just think it's a benefit from us to know what's going on, to protect what we have. we're sitting here enjoying, our status and being able to do things like extraordinary things like the LSU program with Dr. Morales and the nursing program at Southern and the aircraft maintenance program. We're doing that because of hydraulic fracturing. Sitting here wondering what to do with our prudent investments and how we can create jobs in industry, and having that little war chest to do that is because of the oil and gas industry. It is of nothing else, and those of us who've been here for any length of time know that. So, is it worth protecting? Small investment of $2,500 a year to see if that organization needs to be, and if not, we don't renew. But I don't view it as a threat, I view it as an opportunity. Thank you.
Commissioner Epperson?
I'd like to make a motion that we delay action on this item until such time we receive more information.
Been moved. Second, we have one motion on the floor. We have a second motion now that we delay until you get more information. Moved by Commissioner Epperson, second by Commissioner Lynch. So we need to vote on the
Substitute motion.
Substitute motion. You want to
Just
discuss?
the next agenda? Well, you said till we get more information, okay.
You want to discuss? Go ahead.
Right. I was in the committee meeting, and the same question that arose by Ms. Lynch and Mr. Lynn even highlighted to some of my concerns also. I think Mr. Grubb stated that was it in October of 2012 that this group met in Dallas?
No, sir, they met about 3.5 weeks ago in Dallas.
Okay, but you heard about the group in October?
I got my first phone call about it in October.
In October 2012, okay. And you attended the meeting in Dallas, right?
The one that was 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, right. And I think I asked for information out of the committee, the same, and my reason, it's not that I'm against anything, it's just that I'd like to know, I would, I take it, you go to a meeting, you sit there with 6 people, and then you come back, you can't tell us the names, or you don't have any kind of information. I asked for some written information. I said, do we have a website that's up and going? I even mentioned the fact that I had seen T. Boone Pickett, I think he's a big-time oil man, mentioned an organization on a news show that morning, which sort of got my interest, but at least I had someone of some credibility within that industry that was stating an organization that he was proposing. So it's the same thing here, if the administration take it upon themselves to go ahead and do it and join it without coming through us, so be it. It appears as though if we vote on this today, it'll be the same situation. But I would just like to know the names of who at the table, you know what I mean? Someone had to be at that meeting. You met, you don't have a mission statement, you don't have nothing. That's all I ask. And of course, we benefit from the oil, just like we do from a lot of other things. And I don't agree with everything of every organization. However, that does not mean that I'm going to oppose that organization. But I do want to know something about that organization. Who are some of the original organizers? Who are the people at the table that's initiating this effort? And I think that's just common sense. You see segments on television, people opening their spigots and sticking a match to it, and fires coming out of their water. You see cows dying. You hear people talking problems about there's earthquakes and things of this nature. I'd just like to know some facts about what's going on. I don't care if it's a nickel. If it was 5 cents, I would still be asking for the same information. And many of you around this table know that as long as I've been here, I always say what? In God we trust, but for man I want to see something in black and white. Now you can sit up here if you want to and holler that I'm going to do it and you're just going to jump in on everything. But a lot of times you can jump in on the doggone wagon and it may not take you where you want to go. So my idea is that if you went to a meeting, there were some people at the table. You can't give me any names. They aren't in the written documents. I just don't see it. And I would hope that get the information, and I will gladly, once I see what you have in writing, vote to join. And if not, go ahead and do it administratively. But I wouldn't want to take that risk without knowing something that I can take back to my constituents and tell them who and what I'm joining and why. Thank you.
Mr. Grubb?
First of all, Commissioner Epperson, the administration never considered joining this organization. From the get-go, we were going to go before the national...
No, I didn't say you considered. Mr. Escudé stated that my understanding was that the administration could have. That's the way I understood what he said.
I'm speaking as y'all's lawyer now to tell you that there was never any consideration by the administration for doing that, because the political stances taken by Caddo Parish are taken by the Caddo Parish Commission. So if y'all aren't interested in joining this organization, then that's gonna terminate the matter. Just to be clear, when I met with these folks 3 weeks ago, nobody was a member of this organization because they had not opened up membership yet. I mean, they decided on the $2,500 dues there, and there were 6 or 7 county governing body folks, 3 or 4 from Pennsylvania, about a half a dozen from 2 or 3 more from Arizona, I think 1 from New York State. That was the group. It was just a very informal group. But the point is, I'm not hiding anything from you. I have their names and counties back in a file that I'm happy to give to you. I just didn't realize that was
But sir, didn't I ask for that the other day? And, you know, whatever you could give me. And certainly with this item hitting the floor today, you know, what I heard in the committee, I would certainly have been more prepared with something.
Well,
and it's not just, you know, me.
If I can say one more thing, and I don't want this to sound like I'm advocating that y'all, it doesn't make any, I'm not advocating that y'all join this organization. I just have been somewhat responsible for bringing it before you for your decision. I will say this, they are going to have their second and last informal meeting of this group, at which time we'll know. I have seen indications by email of some counties joining the organization, but I have no grasp at all of where they are in meeting their goals of getting the 60 counties, I think, is by the end of this month. I don't know where they are on that. They are meeting in another informal meeting, this time in Houston, a week from Friday. And it was my intent, if y'all decided to join this group, to at that time try to get Caddo Parish a board seat that would be taken by one of y'all, not by me, because you got to be an elected official to do it. And I guess the only point I'm making, commissioners, is if y'all want a seat on the board, I'll do my best to get it, but I would have to do that a week from tomorrow when they have the meeting. There's this meeting in Houston. Sarah?
Will we have to join for you to be able to attend this meeting?
If y'all decide not, if y'all have hesitancy about joining the group, Commissioner, I'm not going to waste the taxpayers' money by going to it.
Do you think you could get more information on the organization if we do not decide, or we postpone it today, and you go to the meeting next Friday in Houston and bring back more information on it? Do you think you could get more information on the organization?
I'm sure I could. And again, I don't want anybody thinking I'm trying to influence what y'all do today when I say this, but I would think that at that meeting their initial board will be set. So if y'all have a goal of having representation on the board, and again, I'm not committing that the seat is there, but I would think that after that meeting, the seat would be probably not available. I mean, that would be the only and I'll do this, Commissioners. I'm not hiding anything. I wish I had my file down here. I have the minutes, I think, of the meeting that took place in Dallas, and I'd be happy tonight or tomorrow morning to email those minutes to you I mean, I'm not gonna do anything, I'm not gonna order, I'd be the one to order the check, and I'm not gonna order the check unless I'm convinced that there's at least 7 of y'all that are in favor of joining this organization, trust me.
Okay.
Trust me, that was a lawyer talking.
One with no opinion.
Commissioner Johnson,
Call for question.
you call for the question by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Dominic. We need to vote on the second motion.
Vote on
I'm sorry, need to vote on calling for the question first. Thank you. That passes. Now, we need to vote on the second motion first.
Substitute motion.
Substitute motion, which was repeated for us.
To delay until information can be obtained relative to the organization.
Okay. Say again?
To delay until information can be obtained from this organization, from the American Counties for Energy Independence.
Please vote. That fails, 4 to 6. Okay.
Now we need to vote on the original motion.
We still calling it.
Yeah, original motion.
Well, that's point of order, just, Madam Chairman. Before we allocate any funds, we still had the $2,500, still had to come back before this body, right?
No, not if we had decided to vote today. I mean, to join today.
I thought any money allocated have to be put in the ordinance.
This was, if we voted to join today, that means
Is that right?
the money would be allocated to join today.
There's available, I'm advised there's already appropriated funds available in some
From general
account.
fund, I'm assuming.
Yes, we got funds.
What fund is it
This is
coming
a
out of?
resolution, so it
General,
takes-
I'm assuming.
Administration funds.
this is a resolution, so it takes 7 votes to pass.
Oh, it does. They only had 6.
And it fails.
It failed.
Next order of business.
Next.
Next, we move to new business confirmation for commissioners to attend the National Organization of Black County Officials Economic Development Conference, Detroit, Michigan.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Lynch, second by Commissioner Lynn. Are there any discussion? Please vote. That passes. Move to adjourn. What's y'all want to say?
Vote to take delay.